Firstly, a huge thanks to my friend Wayne for letting me borrow this. Let's get into it. Today we're checking out something a little bit different. I'm dying to check this out and show you guys if it actually works. This is the Deeflexx diffuser system, and these are made in Germany. And essentially what this does, let me just grab a small amp right now, is you put this in front of your amplifier, and imagine a loud amplifier in a room killing everyone with the blizzard of nails and top end. You put this in front of the amp and it makes it more pleasing for the crowd. It takes out the top end, which basically putting anything in front of your amp will do that. But the premise of this is it will keep the volume and make it more consistent no matter where you are in the room. So anywhere out here, you'll definitely hear a very consistent sound without getting that blizzard of nails. So today we're going to try it with a Rode M3 microphone directly behind this system, about a meter back. This won't be to scale. And then we'll try it on a diagonal like this. And then we'll also see what it does from behind, coming down on an angle, just in case you're a drummer and you're wondering how it sounds if you're actually beside or behind the amp. So we're testing in a few situations like that. One thing to take note of in this video, you'll be hearing the microphone audio before me. So I'll just be giving you my experience sitting in the room next to the amplifier or in front of it, whereas you'll be actually hearing it from the microphone. Now, I've also got a dB decibel meter in the room also. Now, what this thing claims to do is to not really drop the volume at all. It just makes it more consistent, both volume-wise, but also takes out that top-end blizzard of nails. So, more pleasing to the audience. I'm gonna give you my thoughts about this at the end as well. So for now, let's get into it. All right, let's kick it off. I'm plugged into the Tweetone 20R on the drive channel with the master volume at about 10 o'clock. This is still a loud amplifier even with the master volume there. So this is a pretty rockin' tone. The mic that you're going to be hearing the audio from the amp is a room mic set back about 1 meter, which is also where the sound pressure level meter is as well. And that's on my other camera. You'll see that come up. Here we go. Now, it's hard for me to keep an eye on the decibel meter, but I'll put it on screen what it roughly peaked at. It looked like around 113. So let's put on the Deeflexx, off-centering it to the side because the speaker's actually over here, not in dead center. So let's give this a shot. All right, where I'm sitting, it does sound a little bit different, but not in a bad way. It still sounds good. Let's take this off, try it again. The interesting thing is, I don't know how different the decibel meter actually was. It's still really loud in here. It's just probably not quite as loud directly in front of the speaker, if that makes any sense. I'm still hearing the sound everywhere, which is cool. But hopefully there's a difference in tonality listening back through the microphone. Where I'm sitting, I can't really hear that much of a difference. What I'm going to do now is stand in front of the amplifier, and we're going to see how this kind of sounds now. Yeah, I think it's already taken off some of that top end that could be causing problems. Let's have a listen now. All right, let's take a quick listen. This will be the test with the microphone in front of the amplifier. I just want to give you my opinion on this. Great tone, that's with it off, and this is with it on. Wow. So I immediately can hear that with the Deeflexx on, the top end is attenuated big time. So you're definitely not going to cop that blizzard of nails. Let's try it now with the microphone coming in on a diagonal angle. I've actually got the Deeflexx currently on. Here we go. And now with it off. While I can now sort of hear a difference with it on and off, even from the side, it's not a huge difference. It does change the tone slightly on what I'm hearing. I'm so used to hearing the amp just sort of going out the front in its normal way and not sort of being bounced back up. I should probably also try this just quickly from behind as well, just to see if more is actually happening with the Deeflexx on with a mic behind the amp. I might actually put it up a little bit higher, the microphone this time, just to see if that helps. This last test will see if it's going to make any difference for someone behind or beside the amplifier, like a drummer or bass player. I've got the mic pointing at the back of the amplifier now, so the sound you might hear on this particular section won't sound probably as good as what you just heard before. The room sound from the front. You're hearing a room sound now from behind. So let's give this a shot. Pressure level meter, the sound pressure level meter is there. So let's give this a shot on bridge. Deeflexx on. Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Shane. So does this do what it says it does? Absolutely. It gives you a much more consistent volume all around the room, no matter where you are, but it does attenuate the top end quite heavily as well. Now, it almost sounds like a consistent recorded tone, but it definitely doesn't have that top end that you would get just from your amplifier, which is the intention too. They wanted to get rid of that laser beam of top end that just cuts through the mix and kills everybody. Now, if you already have a sound that isn't too bright, you might not even need something like this, right? It just depends. It depends on your situation. I could envision someone using this at a place where, you know, you're playing on a stage, a small stage in a restaurant or something like that. There's tables right at the end of the stage and people are eating dinner. You don't want to be just throwing guitar volume straight in their ear. I've been in that situation gigging a number of times. So something like this would be ideal for those sort of situations where you don't want that laser beam of audio killing everyone in the front. Interestingly enough, having this on didn't really affect the overall volume. It just made it maybe more consistent no matter where we put the microphone in the room. Thought that was kind of interesting. That perceived volume difference though is that top end. You hear the top end, it sounds louder, but it isn't necessarily louder when you look at the actual dB meter. Now, my decibel meter was on the floor. That's where I had it. Might not have been ideal for the first couple of tests, but that's all I could do. It was a meter back, and that's usually how you test, you know, volume rating. So overall it works. So how do I feel about the Deeflexx system? They do work. It definitely helps nullify that top end and makes the sound a little bit more consistent. Now, if you're a drummer, I've heard drummers in a live mix complain that it's way louder for them hearing the amp, like the weight coming back, you know, via the spill of this. So, you know, there's pros and cons there as well. If you're a guitarist though, and you're in a situation like I mentioned where people are eating dinner right at the end of the stage, then something like this would be great. You can maybe opt for a smaller amp or turn your amp sideways or something like that as well. But, you know, in an ideal situation, if you were mic'd up with one of these on too, you would get the correct sound going through the front of house. It's just that it would help the rest of your bandmates by not giving them that blizzard of nails. So it kind of works. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. My name's Shane. I'll catch you soon. See ya.